So I'm just going to move on to the next example, which is...
Oh, this is one of mine. I'm not sure what
sorry.
the audience kind of mix is here, if we're digital media professionals versus television, but this is was a project that was led by a television series. Back in 2000, we sent about 40 people to live on an island in Scotland for a year. It was a show called Castaway for the BBC, a massive success, pre-Big Brother in the UK, so it cut through hugely. In 2007, we repeated it again for the BBC, massive sort of £10 million budget. But it was important to us because it was a documentary with a little bit of voting at the end, that we found some way for the audience to interact with what was going on the island in New Zealand. So we created kind of 3 interactive properties around it. One was what you would expect, an all-you-can-eat kind of website, 24/7 updates, video, all that sort of stuff. The next was something that's quite germane to the UK, which is a red button program. So someone's watching the main program, they can press the red button on their remote, and they can watch on the interactive TV platform a different broadcast. So we created a companion show around the host. But the third thing was the one I wanted to talk about today, which was more interactive and had a kind of a different storyline going. We called it Castaway Remote Control, and it was giving the audience the chance to get involved and affect the lives of these 16 people living in huts on a beach in New Zealand. So I actually have a video about it. Apologies, it's about 2 minutes, but it explains it better than I can.
7 years after the original series, Castaway returned. But this time, it was a truly 21st century experience. In addition to the TV series, audiences could participate in an interactive game, Castaway Remote Control. Host Danny Wallace presented TV viewers with a chance to directly influence events on the island.
This week, you kind people out there have decided to give the castaways the surfboard. As always, we're here to facilitate that decision that you, the British public, have made.
Over 500,000 votes were cast by the public throughout the series. In one such intervention, the viewers had a choice between 2 punishments.
You can still go to our website at bbc.co.uk and vote on whether we take away their cows or their cow.
How did it work? On the website, viewers could watch a short clip of Danny arguing the pros and cons of each option and how it might affect the castaways. To take part in the vote, viewers had first to spot a symbol hidden in the BBC One show. Once the correct symbol had been identified, viewers could vote. One vote attracted over 200,000 hits. Website forums went into overdrive, with people trying to ensure they got their way. Not that everyone did, of course. When the vote closed, results were immediately revealed in the BBC One and BBC Three programmes.
You voted for the castaways to lose Daisy the cow.
I think that we would do a punishment. The viewers get set.
I don't know why the cow's been taken away because we're gonna die.
This is Castaway.
This unique game gave viewers the chance to engage and participate in the series by directly influencing the lives of the castaways. Castaway Remote Control put the audience in charge.
So, a little bit over the top, apologies about that, but this was 2 years ago, so obviously things have moved on a lot since then with Twitter and Facebook and so forth. But this was just a simple game mechanic, and it really worked because we had a portion of the audience who were in on the joke, and so they were deciding what to do to the castaways. And for the mainstream viewer, they didn't realise what was happening, and the decisions ended up driving the narrative. So the narrative of the BBC One show, which was being watched by 4 or 5 million viewers, was actually being driven by a small amount of people playing an interactive game, which is a really interesting model. I'll let James move on, but just quickly, the other part of this was an alternate reality game that ran alongside it. So the symbols that you saw, people could collect those, go out onto the web, find clues, and explore kind of a backstory about why the castaways were on this island. And obviously that appealed to the more hardcore gaming community. So we tried basically a combination of approaches, which was quite successful.
Christy, how many of the people participated in the IRG? I didn't ask you that before.
It was much smaller than the voting. So we estimate it was kind of about, we had 20,000 people in the end find the final location, but they were much more hardcore than the casual voters. It was also one of those moments in your career where you think, what the hell am I doing at 4 in the morning when you go into a camp to lead a dairy cow out in the dark and film it on night vision camera. And you just think, how did I get here? But fun.